Today I'll be going over my picks for the best suit upgrades, rune upgrades, and Sentinel crystals. So just to start off, because the runes are so quick, definitely without a doubt, this is my pick for the best rune upgrade. The ability to take out weak points on the arachnid, revenants, and mancubuses with the precision strike is I beat the game so many times on Nightmare already, especially on Nightmare. All I've played is Nightmare in the lowest difficulty. It it's key. You just need to do it. You need to take him out so quick, and this makes it so easy. Next up, we have Equipment Fiend. It's good on its own, and after you got the two upgrades for increasing the flame belch, all you gotta do is like flame belch chainsaw. That's all. Like 9 out of 10 times that I flame belch is just flame belching every target I chainsaw, and I'll have the flame belch ready before I have my next chainsaw ready. So it charges very fast. Like you're only looking at it just over a hand plus seconds to recharge if you take out one enemy with it and deal a lot of damage on multiple targets, and you're basically almost instantly recharging it. So next up, we have the Blood Punch. I mean, it's nice, especially for people that are a fan of blood punching heavies. Then definitely. I rarely use my Blood Punch, but if I'm not playing Ultra Nightmare, then I would definitely consider this to be the third one. This overall has got a serious downgrade. Your extra lives will stop this from being used. Instead of using the saving throw rune, you will go into extra lives. So the viability of this rune is very, very low, especially since you can get as many extra lives as you want. I have a video showing anybody who needs extra lives how you can get one per minute. So altogether, no. I have not noticed a problem with the stagger rate. I mean, it's cool to have them stagger for so long, and maybe if you're playing more on a beginner level and new to the game, you might want to put this on. Anybody experienced, we're just going to completely pass over that. We're going to pass over this. Don't really see it needed. No. This one is a potential. I mean, you could very easily, as a third pick, these two are like the top two, definitely. And then your third is either this, or this. Okay, not going to go into any more detail on that. That is pretty basic. Let's just go on to suit upgrades and Sentinel crystals. And we'll start with the Sentinel crystals since it's shorter. And definitely the loot magnet armor upgrade to start. Although it can be the ammo, that is a little bit dealer's choice, but between getting the first two Sentinel crystals, I see no problem with ammo, so I'd rather a little bit more survivability, and I pick the armor. I go armor on that, ammo next, flame belch. Once again, I'm going back to the armor and health damage. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. You're not taking any less damage. If you have armor, don't have armor, and then it goes into the health. It's the same thing. So I'd rather more armor and then strategically picking up health and glory killing. Next up, my personal pick is the Hell for Blood armor because I go for a little bit more armor. And then I'll go into the two healths for the Napalm Belch and the Belch armor boost. Or if I want to make it a little bit. So let me just rephrase this as like after you're done with the quick draw belch and the loot magnet, you're basically picking between the Napalm Belch, Hell for Blood, and Belch Armor Boost. Armor for Blood obviously should be your last pick when you're at max armor, all armor pickups. It's the hardest one to actually even benefit from, and one of them is ammo, and I don't know. It's definitely the least effective. Go for that last. It really depends on your playstyle. Are you flame belching and chainsawing weaker enemies? That's what I do. So generally, I'll go for the one armor on the Hell for Blood. because I want the extra armor. And then I'll go into starting to work on the belch armor boost. Get the health out of that so I get a little benefit on the heavy. Then I'll go back to the health for blood and get a little bit more health on that and actually max that out. And then I'll go for the ammos on the other two. I can actually survive with just that ammo and spamming the chainsaw and flame belching basically almost everyone I'm chainsawing and running around with the super shotgun when I need a little bit more armor. But if you need more ammo, just max out whichever one you favor, whether you're favoring the napalm belch or the belch armor boost. Go for the health and the ammo on that. So on to, where is it? Oh yeah, suit upgrades. So definitely first, I'm going to do this by tiers. Like, because there's going to be multiple selections in a tier. And we'll go into tier 1. Tier 1 is in its own tier. The hit and run is in its own tier. It's just a godsend to move throughout the environment to not stall out. Next up, we have the Hot Swapper, the Grappler, the Frostbite, which I'll get into why we're picking that over the Frost, and the Combustion Concussion. Those are all tier 2. Now everybody, depending on your playstyle, you're going to want to pick something. My opinion is that you pick something in the tier 2 category that I just gave you. Whatever you think would most benefit your playstyle. They're all basically the next level of good as far as an effective tool to beat most scenarios. And third, we have the Permafrost, and let me get into why the Frostbite is first. So when strategically throwing the ice grenade, you have the ability to, if timed perfectly or near perfect, you can just two-shot Mancubuses, you can two-shot Slithering Creatures, you can two-shot Hell Knights with point-blank shots. All these have to be point-blank shots. But you use less ammo, and when it is in a distance and you're going to use the rocket launcher anyway, you can get your perfect shot off and do more damage. And you're going to be getting this next anyway. Just the ability to take out the heavy aggressive enemies faster, because generally those enemies have enemies behind them and you're throwing the ice grenade anyway, so you want to take them out as quickly as possible and move on. So that's why the Frostbite is 2 and this is 3. But we definitely want them frozen for longer too, because this makes, when we do throw it a little bit off or we have to close a little bit more distance and we can't get that second shot off if we didn't have this on, this makes it really nice. It also makes the armored Mancubuses, you can 3-shot them with it, so it makes doing them in easier. Actually, I think it's 4 point blank shots on them. 3 and a pullback. I almost never go for that third point blank. I don't think it completely does them in. I'm remembering correctly. So next up on this we have the frag stock up. And the ability to have 2 grenades is a lot more effective in most scenarios than having the faster cooldown. 2 grenades generally is pretty good to get through most battles. By the time you want to throw them again, then you have another one. They're stunning the larger enemies too already. This is really cool, but not as effective. It's good at taking out groups of low enemies, which generally you can just run around the map or just throw 2 grenades and they're dead anyway. So after, just to clarify again, it's a third pick and this is a third pick. Then we have the 4th picks, which are the cooldown. We do want to continue with it, go for the cooldowns on them. After you have that, then I would go for the level 4s. The level 4s are cool, but the other ones just are more effective. So this is nice. It There's a couple of scenarios where it's really effective when you got a lot of low-end enemies. And the extra health, you do get a little bit of extra health, but you have to freeze like large groups or freeze a heavy. And even when you freeze a heavy and you kill it, you're only getting like 20 health anyway. It's nothing really substantial that you're getting, just a little bit of extra health. In between late game, in between battles, you can freeze enemies, then burn enemies, then take your super shotgun and meat hook them and get some of your life back if needed. So it is kind of useful late game, but overall in the beginning, the other things are going to help you survive. Being able to instantly kill a Hell Knight is much better than one dropping you a little bit extra health, especially when it, you're not able to kill it and then it takes half your health when it hits you or instant kills you. At some point in time, you want to get your barrel explosions. I found that this is really only useful for like the Marauder battle and maybe the second Slayer Gate battle. If you're not able to beat it, the barrels can cause a lot of damage. So whether you might need to get it if you're trying to beat the the Marauder battle right away. Other than that, I'd probably just get this late game on any Slayer battle that you couldn't beat right away. Now, at that time, you probably got just about everything you want done. And if you need to make it a little easier, if there's a bunch of barrels that are doing damage to you, then you can just put that on. And then the other three are just last rune upgrades too. Since you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you have no objection to watching guides. Personally, I watch the PS4 trophies. I have no affiliation with them, but I like theirs because like I'd find most of the stuff in my first couple playthroughs on my own. I just go back and they had that thing on the top left of the screen that just said what it was. So I could just scan through and I just look and I say, oh, well, I need a toy. And I just scan through and I'll just be like, all right, toy, I got this one. Toy, I'm not sure. Let me check that one. I found the PS4 trophies guides to be good. If you're going at the end game to get your say all rune upgrades in a playthrough, yeah, go ahead. Otherwise, pointless. I think you get the map, you can find most of them. I don't know. But that's my picks. I wouldn't get those even if I wasn't using the guide. I'd rather try to find them on my own and get them on my second playthrough. Anyway, that is my picks for suit upgrades, rune upgrades, and Sentinel crystal upgrades. I hope that helps.